In an age where college funding is limited, education resources are questionable, and arts programs are being cut, the Coalition for African Americans in the Performing Arts, better known as CAAPA, has stepped up to the plate.
Inspired by CAAPA as a part of its commitment in supporting classical music education and performance artists throughout the United States and abroad, we offer the Masterclass Series. CAAPA marries serious music students with acclaimed music masters of color, targeting historically black colleges and universities, or HBCUs, high school performing arts schools, and music conservatories, including schools like Howard University, Livingstone College, Morgan State University, Detroit School for the Arts, Morehouse College, Texas Southern University, Spelman College, University of Kentucky, and Winston-Salem State University.
The Masterclass series helps students build self-confidence, strengthen performances, hone their skills, tighten presentations, improve stage presence, work on technique, and vocal recommendations.
While emphasis is placed on classical music students to participate in the Masterclass series, audiences and faculty members are also encouraged to attend the free-to-the-public sessions, an exciting and fresh way to help CAAPA bring color to the classics.
The CAAPA Masterclass Series.
The Coalition for African Americans in the Performing Arts, funded by the National Endowment for the Arts, in partnership with North Carolina Central University, presents the Masterclass Series, the premier Black classical music masterclass series. Dr. Jolie Rocke, renowned soprano, has performed as a featured soloist in the USA, Europe, and far north Queensland, Australia. She is a versatile vocalist of varied repertoire, including but not limited to opera, jazz, gospel, and musical theater. Her passion for music and the desire to pass it on to her students leads her to produce concerts, direct community arts programs, and train aspiring singers as a private voice teacher, coach, and mentor. For more than 20 years, Dr. Rocke served as a music teacher in the public schools of Hartford, Connecticut. She has taught at Texas Southern University, Prairie View A&M University, Manchester Community College, and the University of Connecticut. In addition to actively performing, presenting master classes and lectures nationally, Dr. Rocke is an artist in residence at St. Peter United Church of Christ and the owner of Rocke Vocal Studio in Houston, Texas. It is my esteemed pleasure to welcome Dr. Jolie Rocke. Before we meet the music master, I'd just like to say hello and welcome everyone to our next installment of CAAPA's virtual masterclass series. My name is Renée Simpson, and I am your host and program director of the series. I would like to thank North Carolina Central University and its music department for agreeing to partner with us today in bringing color to the classics. To the NCCU music students who are observing via Zoom, please feel free to ask any questions you may have for Dr. Rocke after she finishes working with Ms. McCoy. Those who are present and are just observing, please feel free to use the chat button for your questions. And those who are watching on Facebook Live, please post your questions in the comments. And now, without further ado, I bring to you our music master, Dr. Jolie Rocke, and NCCU junior tenor, Mr. Jawan Davidson.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much to CAAPA for inviting me and Angela Renee Simpson for inviting me to come here this afternoon and spend this time with you all. I'm very excited to hear the students at North Carolina Central University, where one of my dear friends, Miss Roberta Laws is. And so I just can't wait. So I'm gonna stop talking. Let's hear our first performer. Okay, you are muted. And is it at all possible to have a closer view? Thank you, that's good. You're still muted. Thank you.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Beautiful. Hi, my name is Jawan Davidson. I am a junior here at NCCU, North Carolina Central University, and I am studying for my Bachelor's of Music in Jazz Studies. Today I will be singing In a Sentimental Mood by Duke Ellington with my accompanist, Graham Lassiter. In a sentimental mood, I can see the stars shine through my room while you're alone and too is like a flame. On the wings of every kiss, drifts of melody so strange and sweet, and this sentimental glance, you make my paradise complete. Rose petals seem to fall like a dream to God in mine. Oh, in mine. Oh, my eyes are like a patience here. May this night a dream be mine. And a sentimental mood, I looked in a world so heavenly, though I never dreamed that you'd be loving Santa I can see the stars straight through my room while your love and attitude is like a flame that lights a glow on the wings of every kiss. Drift some melody so strange and sweet, and this sentimental bliss. You make my paradise complete. Rose petals seem to fall, like a dream to go. You're mine, you're mine, you're mine. Oh, my eyes are light and big. Experience you, make this night a dream. Be mine, and a sentimental no, I never treated you. Belong instead, sentimental.
Beautiful. Okay. Stay where you're at. Where you going? Don't go anywhere. All right. So there are a few things that I really appreciated. I appreciated that for the most part, I could understand all of the words that you were saying. You know, there are a couple of times where the endings weren't as crisp as they could be. And yeah, of course, I could rip you and go through each word and make sure you got the beginning consonant, the ending consonant. But for the most part, I understood everything that you said. So I appreciate that. Thank you. I also love that you have just a gorgeous tone to your voice. Beautiful lyrical voice. So there are some things, of course, we all can work on. You have a nice presentation. I would like for you to think about your body language. And also, as you think about your body language, think about the text and what the text means, not just what you can do with your voice with the text, but what is the text? What does it really mean? And what are the images that you want to convey for your audience? What do you want us to get out of your performance, right? What's the story you're telling? How do you want us to take what you're saying? Because each time somebody gets up and sings, in a sentimental mood, which lots of people have sung it, each time you sing it, each time someone else sings it, it needs to be a little different. It needs to be what you want it. You want to articulate what you want to say. So first, I want you to start with just speaking the text.
In a sentimental mood, I can see the stars straight through my room, while your loving attitude is like a flame that lights the gloom.
Okay, stop.
On the wings of every kiss.
Hold on. I want you to do that again. And instead of reading the words. I want you to speak the words as if you're having a conversation with yourself.
In a sentimental mood, I can see the stars strengthen my room. By your loving attitude is like a flame that lights the gloom.
Okay, but we still have the phrase. I want you to be more conversational. You know, just in a sentimental mood, I can see the stars come shining through, right? Try it again.
In a sentimental mood, I can see the stars shake through my room. By your loving attitude is like a flame that lights the gloom.
Okay.
On the wings of every
Because
kiss.
what you're doing is you're repeating the rhythm of the music. I don't want you to do that. I want you to just understand the words as if you're reading a book to a 5-year-old, right? Because if you said that to a 5-year-old, they'd be all around the room looking like they would not pay attention to you. You need to capture your audience right now with the text, all right? Don't think about the music. Just what does this text mean? How does it speak to your heart? Try it again. One more time.
Okay.
You can take a second and think about it. You don't have to rush.
Okay. In a sentimental mood, I can see the stars straight through my room. While your loving attitude is like a flame that lights the gloom. On the wings of every kiss, just a melody so strange and sweet. In this sentimental bliss, you make my paradise complete. Rose petals seem to fall, it's all like a dream to call you mine. My heart's a lighter thing, since you make this night a dream divine. In this sentimental mood, I'm within a world so heavenly. Oh, I never dreamed that you be loving me sentimentally.
You notice how difficult that is, right?
Yes.
It's not quite so easy to approach the words from a place outside of the rhythm of the music, right? But it's important to do because what did it do to the way you're thinking about the text right now?
It forced me to have deeper thought on the emotion behind the text, the subtext. Whatever emotion that I tapped into before, it just made me think into it deeper, if that makes sense.
Exactly. It also forces you to make some decisions that you might not think about, that the rhythm and everything else, the melody line and everything else is getting in the way and clouding your judgment because you've got so much to think about at one time. So if you just take those words and really speak them like poetry, like a conversation to, a deep level, right? Then it changes how your perspective on what those words mean and how you're going to convey them as you sing them to the audience, right? All right, so now, I also noticed something when you spoke the words. You didn't do things like in a mental mood, I can see the stars come through my room while your loving attitude is like a flame that lights the gloom. Do you understand where I'm coming from?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, and tell me in other words what I'm saying.
Breaking the phrase apart.
You're not just breaking the phrase apart, you're breaking the word apart, right? So sometimes I can understand breaking a phrase apart if there's a reason and an intent behind breaking the phrase. But you cannot break the word because it changes and it's not a word anymore, right? So in a sentimental mood, paradise, not paradise. We wouldn't speak that way. And singing is language. So we want to keep the language and be true to language. Okay? So let's start it again. And let's see what you do with the text and trying to keep those words together as one word.
You want it back from the top.
From the top. Yeah.
In a sentimental mood, I can see the sun straight through my room. While your love and attitude is like a flame that lights the gloom on the wings of
Stop. Why did you make the decision to breathe before gloom?
I ran out of breath, honestly.
Ah, that means you need to prepare better for breath, yes? All right. The other thing I'm noticing is that as you begin your phrases, you're losing a lot of air and you're attacking them with glottally, where your vocal folds are coming together a little hard, okay? You can actually approach the beginning of phonation a little bit more tenderly and not in, right? In a sentimental mood. So you're in a different key than I am, so that's kind of low for me. I want you to start just the first note. Just sing in. Can you please give him the pitch, pianist? And thank you so much. Now you see how you in. Now listen, go. I'm gonna go up the octave. Woo, sing woo with the W in front of it. Woo. Sing that again, recognizing that the sound is starting on the W on your lips. Woo. Now, start this time, blow air, and then add the W and the oo. So watch, it's gonna look like this or sound like this. Ooh, try that. Try it again. Don't blow so hard. You don't need the air to move so strongly. Okay, good. Now I'm gonna give you a little imagery. Imagine, you know how dandelions, the weeds when we're little kids, we pick up the dandelions and we blow them?
Yes.
Okay, so pretend like the air is gonna move like you're blowing the dandelion. If you blow too fast, it's not gonna let the seeds fly. They're gonna go plit, right? So we want them to gently blow into the wind. Don't let it go plat, okay? Now try it. Now change that to in. Much, much better. Thank you. So it feels totally different, doesn't it?
It feels totally different.
Yes.
Describe how that feels, because I'm a believer that if you can't put it into words, how can you repeat it? So describe how that felt.
One of the observations that I made very quickly was in order to get that appropriate approach is to take an appropriate breath. The breath that I was taking at first was a bit sharp. It was a little quick instead of really taking it in. So yes, breathing.
So, okay, and then how about the approach? Because the approach was very different, the onset.
Not putting as much weight on the onset as much as I did before, and expelling that weight and inserting that weight somewhere else, like towards the end of the phrase versus starting at the beginning.
Okay, so it releases some weight or pressure of the breath, right? What about how the throat feels? Do it one more time so you can pay attention. Do the W and then do the N. Do it one more time with the W. Okay, but that was good. That was good. All right, now, what did you notice about your throat?
What did you notice about? I'm trying to avoid that feedback.
It was warmer.
Yeah, because it's more open. So you can actually feel the air moving through it as opposed to closing the throat to try to get the sound out. Now you've got constriction going on. We don't want that constriction. We want to keep the throat open as we are producing sound, especially at the onset. Okay? All right, so let's try it again. And I want you to think about that at the beginning of every phrase that you sing, because that happened at the beginning of every phrase.
Gotcha.
All right, so let's start again. Right on in. Stop.
I can see the stars dripping.
Stop. That was better. I didn't let you go very far. That was better, but you did not breathe until the very last minute. Do you like to live? You know, living requires inspiration, air. Can you give me some breath? Don't wait till the last minute. Let's start it again.
Okay. And a sentimental I can see the stars straight through my room. My love and attitude is like a flame that lights the gloom on the wings of every kiss. Dreams of melody so strange and sweet in this sentimental place.
Very nice. I can hear you working through that. Excellent. Okay.
Dr. Jolie, we're at 2 minutes.
All right, great. So the next thing I want you to think about is each word needs to form in your mouth. You need to feel them. Okay, because sometimes you're doing some scooping and sliding, which is appropriate at times, but it needs to be intentional. Everything that you do, every decision you make needs to be intentional. Okay, so I want you to start from the rose petals seem to fall part, and I want you to rose petals seem to fall. Speak it that way just so you can feel the sound in your mouth. Taste it.
I'm sorry.
Just speak the words, rose petals seem to fall, so that you taste it in your mouth.
Okay.
Just speak it for now.
Rose petals seem to fall.
You meant rose petals seem, you're not paying attention. I want you to think about every single vowel and consonant. Rose petals seem to fall.
Okay. Rose petals seem to fall.
Can you give me more all and petals?
All the petals.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Rose petals seem to fall.
Okay, now sing from right there.
Sing from that place. Rose petals seem to fall. Like a dream to come in your mind.
Yes, it's like liquid. The word should feel like liquid.
We are at time.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Thank you so much. Beautiful.
Next, we have NCCU sophomore mezzo-soprano, Miss Jacqueline McCoy.
Hello, my name is Jacqueline McCoy. I am a sophomore at North Carolina Central University, and my major is music education. Today I will be singing Must the Winter Come So Soon from the opera Vanessa, and it is arranged by Samuel Barber, accompanied by Ms. Eileen Pocock.
Very nice. Thank you so much. And also, let me just say thank you to both the pianists for being with us today and being so supportive. It's important that we remember that it's collaborative. You know, our singing always occurs with the pianist. And a lot of times, remember that the pianist gives you so much. They give you so much. Okay, so beautiful, beautiful voice. I really appreciate that when you take a breath, a nice big one, oh, that tone is just glorious and it just rings. But sometimes you forget to get a nice, good breath to prepare you, okay? But when you do, it's absolutely gorgeous. So, you know, that's a major key for you to make sure you're getting in enough breath. And you have lots of time to take breath. You have lots of rest in here, though it's not so easy to manage the breath, right? You do have the time to take it. So, you know, make sure you go through your music and really mark when you need to take the bigger breaths so that you don't forget to do that. Okay? All right, awesome. Emotionally, I want to see your face come alive.
Yes.
It needs to come alive, right? What is Erica singing about?
Erica is singing about a lover that comes to see her in the wintertime, and she knows he's going to leave. So the point of the song is, lest the winter come so soon, because she knows she's not looking forward to this man coming to see her just to leave her.
That's really what Erica said. Okay, I want you to read the synopsis a little bit clearer. Okay? Because somebody is coming, but they're coming to see Vanessa.
Right.
Okay. And Erica ends up finding out about him. And this happens early in the opera, doesn't it?
Yes.
This particular aria happens very early in the opera. So make sure that you understand. She's looking outside the window and looking out. Okay?
Yes.
So think about that, and I want you to speak the words. And when you speak the words, like I said to Jawan, I want you to feel like you can taste them and that you're having this reflective internal conversation with yourself.
Must the winter come so soon? Night after night, I hear the hungry deer, weeping in the woods. And from this house of brittle bark, hoots the frozen owl.
Okay, stop, because you're doing what Jawan did, which I'm gonna pick on y'all. We all do it when we've never done this before, okay? Because you're like, okay, I gotta remember the words. What's the next line? What's the next line? So I want you to change that. And this is a way to practice, to take the words and speak them very lyrically, right? So that it should be a little bit more like, must the winter come so soon? Night after night, I hear the hungry deer wander weeping. And from this house of brittle bark hoots the frozen owl. Must the winter come so soon? Right? So then you get a different perspective. So try it one more time. Take your time. And again, I want you to feel your mouth shaping the consonants and the vowels, focusing more on the vowels. Go ahead.
Must the winter come so soon? Night after night, I hear the hungry deer, weeping in the woods.
And from this house.
And from his house of brittle bark, hoots the frozen owl. It is a long winter here.
Must the winter come so soon?
It is forest, neither dawn or sunset marks the passing of the days.
Okay, so now I want you to say the phrase, and from this house of brittle bark.
And from this house of brittle bark.
Do you have to attack and? Is it that important of a word? Do have to attack the word and. And from this house. And from this house.
Yes.
So try it again and don't attack the word and.
And from this house of brittle bark.
Soften and. It doesn't have to be that and.
Okay.
And
from this house.
now go whand. Blow first. Whand.
Blow, when.
When.
Now blow.
Blow first.
When.
There you go. So do you see how where do you feel that in your mouth? Where do you feel the A in your mouth when you blow first?
I feel it in the back of my mouth first.
I didn't hear you. Hold on a second. Say that.
Say it again. I feel it in the back of my mouth first.
All right, I want you to do it again. Blow first and put the and on it in the middle of the blowing.
I feel it at the roof as well. The roof as well.
Don't move your son, Robert.
I'm muting so that it helps with the feedback. So can you do the and again and focus on the ab shaping and spinning in the roof of your mouth?
Yes, miss. One.
Don't let it spread this way. It's got to go up into the roof and be tall. Try that again. Okay, now let's sing just that phrase. And from this house of brittle bark, hoots the frozen owl.
From this house of brittle bark, hoots the frozen owl.
Great. We're going to do that again. Okay, well, you're going to do it again. This time, I want you to only sing the vowels. And don't let the vowels be so far away from each other. Because the way you sang it, you sang, if I just did the vowels, it would be, you see how they're all over the place?
Yes.
They need to be more connected to one another, each one of those vowels. So just sing it with the vowels. Pay attention to where the consonants are because you're going to bring them back. Nice on that first part. The second half of that phrase, you don't think that you can sing from the E flat down to that A flat without breaking it.
Yes.
You can. So use the ooh. You're singing on an ooh, right? Go ahead and sing it just on the ooh.
Which part?
Ooh. Just do that. See how you're able to do it?
Yes.
You just use the ooh. Do it and sing through each note. It's like the ooh connects. Ooh. Okay? Or ooh. Try it. Excellent. Now let's put the words to it, starting with and from this house. Make sure the vowels are all shaped in a more lined up place, not everywhere going all over like this. More like this. Okay, go ahead. Did you hear the difference?
Yes.
You felt the difference?
Yes, ma'am.
Describe it.
It was more space on the inside of my mouth, so I didn't have to use my lips as much, and I engaged a lot more.
And how about your breath?
Yes.
How about your breath?
My engagement was a lot more supported than before, so I was able to stay on that pure vowel.
Absolutely. So I'm sure you've heard this before. Purify your vowels, right? They're not so different from one another. They really aren't. Okay? And make sure that when we found that roof of the mouth, the height of the dome, as some people would say, you want to make sure that that sound spins all up in the height of the dome. Okay? Let's start it from the beginning and see if you can incorporate some of this, what we just did, into the beginning, starting right at night. Right at Must the Winter, sorry. Go ahead, Must the Winter. When you sang this, it didn't really spin well. Here in this. You can't just here in this and let it be, there's no ceiling to stop you. Make sure that you continue to sing through this, not just here in this, here in this. Send the air up into that dome. Try right at here in this. Stop. What's the word? Is it sunset?
Sunset.
Oh, sunset. So there's going to be a modification of the vowel. Okay? You can't go to sunset, say sunset. That would be a better blend than son. So try sunset. And so you get a little bit of the a little bit of the o, and the all mixed together. Okay? Try it again. Sunset. It's set, not sut. Sunset. Try it again. I got son again. It's sunset, not son. Try one more time. Beautiful. Now don't let that air sit, right? The air has to continue to spin through the air, right? Remember the roof of the mouth and that dome, pointed towards the dome. Try one more time.
Dr. Rocke, we have 2 minutes.
Thank you. Uh-huh. Can you get a bigger breath before neither?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I want you to practice going, ooh, ooh, blowing air. Try it. There you go. Do you saw how you just let it really spin in the middle of the set part? It has to spin like that, okay? Try that again with now. Don't pressure the air. If you sit on the air, it's not going to spin. If you pressure the air, it's not going to spin. So don't put pressure on it. Now sing sunset. Yeah, let it blossom like a flower. Sunset. That's sunset. Right? Try it again. Yes. Now try it with here in this forest. Right there. Okay, so you just have to keep working with it. That was good. I can hear you trying to get it in, and it's tough to try to make a change right on the spot, right? But keep working through that, and you'll see that it'll really help you. Excellent, excellent, excellent work. Thank you so much. Oh, you're welcome.
We'd like to thank Ms. McCoy for her joining us, and Mr. Davidson also. Does anyone have any questions for Dr. Rocke? Any one of the students? You can, if you like, if you're still here, you can bring your cameras up and turn on your microphones, and you can speak to her directly, those who are still watching. And if any who do not have that opportunity, you can put questions in the chat or questions on the Facebook Live comments. Do we have any questions for Dr. Rocke? Well, let me ask Dr. Rocke a question. In these times, these COVID times, do you have any advice for any of the young singers now who are in school who haven't started a career yet? Do you have any advice for them?
One of the things I would say is definitely don't sit still. This is a time to really, you've got less time around people. You have a little bit more time on your hands, at least your commuting time, right? So spend that time to really dig into your music and do your research. Spend that time, going through your text. If you can't tell a story when you're singing a song, you have a problem, because we sing language, right? So there's got to be a story. So speak your text, go through with the vowels and consonants, double check, all of your, when you're in Italian, your double consonants and what's rolled, what's trilled, and, really fine tune your voice now. Also, be in contact, reach out, with little notes. And if you can, handwritten notes right now. Write a little handwritten note and send it to some of the young artist programs that are out, and let them know that you're interested when they come back in session. That way you let people know that you're ready and you're available when they can open. Sing at churches. I've been getting a lot of work through different congregations that want a different face on their virtual streams. So I've had church, I'm going to be recording something for a church in Boston, and I'm down in Houston, but I've since the pandemic. I've sung virtually in Houston, in Connecticut, in New York, and down here at several different congregations in Houston. So it's not a time to sit and do nothing. This is definitely a time to study and really learn the opera. Sit and listen to operas. Pull your score out. Listen to the full opera and look at the score, mark it up, see where the tips are. If you're a jazz musician, take that time to do your transcriptions and listening and working on all of the exercises so that you're really building your ear training for the different chord structures and harmonic progressions that you need to really understand well. So,
wonderful. I wanted to ask you, in putting together your package, I was listening to your album Rock of Ages. Can you talk about how that started and why the jazz component to the spirituals?
Okay, so I grew up in a household with my mom and 3 brothers and my grandfather. I would go to my grandparents every weekend. So my grandfather introduced me to jazz and to opera, while my mother had me in church with spirituals and gospel and R&B and, so that was my upbringing. When I faced a cancer diagnosis 10 years ago, I decided that I wanted to just sing. And it didn't matter to me whether it was opera or jazz or gospel, which I had, been primarily singing opera at the time, though I had, dibbled and dabbled in all the rest of it because I sang it all my life. And I said, you know what, I'm going to brand a sound that I blend gospel, jazz, and opera together and go back to the hymns and keep the original hymn tunes in so that everybody recognizes them. In the traditional hymn tune, but also it was, I used hymns to get through when I was going through, my illness. And so that was, a way to inspire other people as they go through life, just like hymns inspired me. And also to create something different.
Absolutely. It was wonderful. Absolutely.
Nobody wants to hire you to sing like Beyonce or to sing like Renée Simpson, right? They're hiring you because they want your voice.
Right. Do we have any questions from the students? Any questions at all for Dr. Rocke? It's an opportunity here to...
I have a question, Angela. Can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely.
Dr. Rocke, first of all, hello, good to see you again, and to see you, Angela. Dr. Rocke, can you speak to your technical training and how you applied it or not to all the other genres of music and the importance of it or not?
Okay, I started taking lessons when I was 10 years old with a classically trained musician, opera singer, and she also was a church musician. I was taught how to sing classical technique, to sing healthy. She also was, like I said, the minister of music at my church. So we sang gospel and, spirituals and anthems, all of the music of the church. And she said, you're going to approach it this way, and you're going to use your classical technique, sing on the breath, make sure you're doing your exercises. So I was taught from 10 years old to sing all of the styles of music with classical technique, open throat, keep the air moving, support, feeling the breath management of the muscles and understanding all of that. And so it is integral to performers, if they want to have a lasting career, to be able to sing with good, solid technique, healthy technique is what I call it, not necessarily classical technique. Because when you get into classical or jazz and you start to delineate the genres, it's more about the stylistic things that you do that separate them apart as opposed to, really the technique.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Robert, for that question. That's an important question.
Does anyone else have any questions? Anyone on Facebook have any questions for Dr. Rocke? Okay, going once, going twice. All right. I know some of the students have classes and they have to leave. So we're going to end it on this note right here. So this concludes our latest CAAPA Virtual Masterclass with North Carolina Central University. I hope everyone had a great time and took away great information from Dr. Rocke. CAAPA would like to thank the NCCU Department of Music Chair, Mr. Israel L. Butler, Professor of Voice and Choir Director, Professor Roberta Laws, Mr. Davidson and Ms. McCoy, but last but not least, Dr. Jolie Rocke. Dr. Rocke, do you have any parting questions you would like to say?
I don't have
words, not questions, words.
Thank you. First of all, I'd just like to thank CAAPA again, and thank you, Angela, and also Roberta Laws. Thank you so much for preparing the students and for what you do at North Carolina Central and all the HBCUs that are really working to prepare our children for careers in music. It's so integral, and we have some phenomenal artists that are working with young people at the HBCUs and other universities across the country. So thank you to all of the students for being brave. Jacqueline and Jawan, standing out there and getting critiqued is not easy. So thank you so much for working with me and allowing me to help you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, everyone, please join us next Wednesday, September 30th at 12 p.m., where we'll be joined by soprano Lisa Gwynn, who will be facilitating a master class with students from Virginia State University. If you are interested in having the CAAPA Masterclass series partner with your institution, please stay and watch our exit video, which will have our contact information. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and have a wonderful afternoon.